Böyle duruyor ya, tam kafasına vuracağım, bir kalktı tokadı vuracağım. Suratını vurmaya çalışma. Gel. Ben mi açtım? Hayvan gibi görünüyor. Ama Ayınca'da mı hayvan? Ayınca'da mı? Abi sen de saklanıyorsun. Ben de oynamam. Ya herkeste olan beyaz var ya. Beyaz mavi, açık mavi, açık mavi çarpı. Ben bir tane ayakkabı aldım.
We are just making a hop across the river to the London Eye. Allow me to pick up a few more passengers before we head on down to Tower. Now, if you are leaving us at the London Eye, please do make your way downstairs to the bar. We will disembark very soon. It's a very short stop at the London Eye, so do make your way downstairs. We'll pick up these passengers and then head on down. If you've just joined us, downstairs for your comfort, there's a fully licensed bar and toilet. Be very careful moving around the boat today. It's obviously quite windy, so just be nice and careful if you're moving around.
Çok sıra var ama. Sıra düşünden ne yapalım? Ben de beklerim abi. Bir kelebek alır kendine yersin diyor. Ne yapıyor kanka? Kanka ne yapıyor? Kanka ne yapıyorsun kanka?
There's nothing to alarm you, it is just for your information. Now, the boat you're on, as I said, is called the Millennium City. It's licensed by the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, and we are fully equipped with life-saving devices located around the vessel. We're in constant communication with everybody you see on the river today, and now, in the highly unlikely case of an emergency, just remain calm, seated, and just follow instructions. We're all trained and we are licensed to be on the river today, okay? You're in perfectly safe hands. But if that has alarmed anyone, the good news for you is we've got a fully licensed bar downstairs, so that'll help calm the nerves. Now then, you've got a couple of options for your cruise today. All right, option one, I can stand here and give you a bit of a live commentary. I can point out some of the sites and pass on some of my local knowledge to you. Bit of a word of warning though, our job is actually to drive the boats. We're members of crew, okay? We're not tour guides on here. Now the other option you've got, behind me, I have a machine in the wheelhouse. I can go in there and I can hit the play button on my machine. It can talk to you instead, whilst I go and have a cup of tea. Hands up, think wisely here, hands up. Who would like, and I can see it downstairs as well, who would like a live commentary? Show of hands. Yeah, there's a few keen ones there. Anyone for the machine? One at the back. Not a problem. As I said though, we're not tour guides on here, okay? So if I get anything wrong, just keep it to yourself. Alright? And I know English isn't everyone's first language. It's not tricky. Who can see Big Ben? No, you can't. No, Big Ben is actually the name of the 13.5-ton bell inside that chimes on the hour every hour. The tower is officially known as the Elizabeth Tower, named after Queen Elizabeth II. But it's affectionately known as Big Ben. Now on the quarter past, half past and quarter to, you'll hear the Westminster chime. So Big Ben just chimes on the hour. Now we're turning the boat in the river, so we're going to be heading in the correct direction at the moment. If you're standing up, be very careful because we do roll quite a bit more on this side onto the river, so just be very careful. Now as we turn, ahead of us you can see a white building called County Hall, straight ahead of us now. Now that used to be home to the Mayor of London, but you'll find more important things in there today. Shrek's Adventure being one of them, and the London Dungeons. So lots of important things in that building today. But you'll see some people walking around over there on the right hand side now. This is the South Bank Walk. Now you can walk from here, Westminster Bridge, down to Tower Bridge, and it will take you about an hour to an hour and a half to do that walk, but there is lots to see and do. You've got bars, markets, restaurants, street performers, musicians, and I'm going to mention a number of sites on the right hand side as we head on down. Now, we just left the London Eye. Here it is now on your right-hand side. The London Eye, it was opened up by British Airways in the year 2000 as part of the Millennium celebrations. Now, it was a short-term project. It was only supposed to be there for 5 years. As you can see, it's still there, and there is a really good reason for that. It makes a lot of money. On a good day, it can make about £250,000, which is ridiculous. 32 pods on board, not a random number, that is to represent the 32 boroughs of London. Now on a clear day at the top there you can see about 35 miles, so to the west you can see Windsor Castle. They actually constructed it in the river where we are now on barges. They put it together and raised it into position how you see it today. Just on your left-hand side, we're just passing a grey vessel here called the Tattershall Castle. It's got the words "Pub on the Thames" there on the left-hand side. Now that used to be a paddle steamer that operated on the River Humber in the north of England. It was brought down to the Thames, opened up as an art gallery for several years, and then it reopened as a pub, as it is today. And it is said it made more money in one day as a pub than it did in its entire existence as an art gallery. So that tells you a little bit about openness.
Can we go downstairs?
Now then, we're going to go underneath several bridges on our way down to Tower. The first bridge we're going to go underneath is Charing Cross. See if they wave back at us. There we are. There we are. Now we do that for a really important reason, because if they're waving back, their hands are occupied and they won't throw anything at us. It's important. Now on your right hand side you've got Royal Festival Hall. That's the last remaining building from the Festival of Great Britain in 1951. Inside there is a theatre with world-class acoustics. It's totally soundproof in there. It had to be that way because you can hear the train line that runs by. Now some of the best performers of all time performed at Royal Festival Hall. The likes of Pavarotti, Michael Jackson, and old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra, has performed there. You may notice, sadly, none of those artists are with us any longer, so we are just holding out for the Justin Bieber concert. Fingers crossed it's soon. Fingers crossed. Now, the next bridge ahead of us is the Waterloo Road Bridge. This bridge is affectionately known as the Ladies' Bridge. And that's because it was reconstructed by an almost entirely female workforce in 1944 during the Second World War. They constructed it in Portland stone, which has self-cleansing properties, so when water gets on the face of the bridge there, it actually cleans itself. When it was finished, it was the longest bridge in London. It stretches 1/4 of a mile across the river. And I've got a bit of a fact for you about this bridge. It remains the only bridge in London to have been built on time and under budget. So well done, the ladies. Now back on our south bank on the right hand side, you'll see this great building with an electronic advertisement board. That is our National Theatre to the right. Pride and Joy, there it is. Now it's not going to surprise you to hear this building on the right gets voted the ugliest building on the River Thames every single year. I would go one further, I think that is the ugliest building in the United Kingdom. But don't judge a book by its cover. There are 3 theatres inside, one of which is the Olivier Theatre, named after Laurence Olivier, and it hosts some of the best shows on the West End. Now, when you came to London, be honest, you weren't expecting to see some fine sand beach resorts, were you? No. Have a look on your right-hand side. Look, there's a little one there. And look over here, straight ahead on the right-hand side. That is the London Riviera over there. You can just imagine the people sunbathing and the kids playing amongst the broken glass bottles. What a beautiful sight. Now these beaches, they appear on a lower tide. Now the river is really tiny. Between high and low water we can see a rise and fall in the water level of around 7 metres. So it gives us really strong currents in the river. Now if you have a quick look on your left, we're just passing this white vessel. If you look to the back of the boat there, you'll see an archway and 2 silver dragons in the road that we've just passed. And that's a boundary, so we've just left the city of Westminster and we are now in the city of London itself. Now the city of London, it stretches from here down to Tower Bridge. It is only 1 square mile in size. It's one of the smallest cities in the world. Now when you're thinking of London today, you're actually thinking of Greater London, and that comprises of 32 boroughs that I mentioned earlier, and the city of London itself. Now if you look beyond that beautiful beach there, on the right hand side, you'll see this red brick building. It's the Oxo building. Any British on board, you'll certainly recognise the road. That's where they used to make the stock cube. That's a common theme on the Thames. All these old industrial buildings do not serve that purpose anymore. They have become very expensive riverside property. So that building that we've just passed, that red brick one, at the bottom, luxury shops, in the middle, multi-million-pound apartments, and at the top, the Harvey Nichols restaurant. And if you went for dinner there tonight at the restaurant, you would probably have to remortgage your house. It's not cheap. But if you're coming down to Greenwich with us, you'll see a lot of these old warehouses that have been converted into very expensive property. Now there's 2 bridges ahead of us. These are the Blackfriars bridges. Now the first one's a road bridge. If you look at the pillars on the road bridge, they were designed to look like church pulpits, and that's because there used to be a monastery located on the north bank of the river. Now if you continue looking at the pillars, you can see some engravings of some birds on the pillars. Now this side of the bridge, they are freshwater birds, and the other side of the bridge, they are seabirds. And that's because when they built the bridge, they believed the tide ended. Now the second bridge is the railway bridge, or a railway bridge. It's actually a train station, this one. Now it was built to accommodate more people coming to London for the Olympics in 2012. The only problem is they completed construction in 2015, so they totally missed the Olympics. Good job. Back on the south bank there, on the right hand side, you can see the old Bankside power station donation of a 5, 10 or even a £20 note to not disturb its congregation. Just got underneath the Millennium Footbridge now. You might have recognised it was using the Harry Potter film where they were flying over there on broomsticks. It was actually the most expensive scene in all the Harry Potter films. Now, have we got any Shakespeare fans on board? A few of you, yeah? This building on your right hand side, this white building with the thatched roof, that's a replica to Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now, it took 20 years to get permission to build that theatre, and that's because there's restrictions in London on buildings with thatched roofs. That's been in place ever since the Great Fire in 1666. If you went to see a Shakespearean performance in the Globe, it would be done in the traditional style, so no lights or sound effects, just as it would have been in the time of Shakespeare. If you went on a rainy day though, and you stood in the middle of that theatre, you would get wet because there is no roof in the middle of the Globe. Now this bridge is Southwark Road Bridge. It was built to alleviate congestion on London Bridge, but this is the quietest bridge in London because it's really hard to find lots of one-way streets. So if you see anyone walking across, give them a wave, guys, because they're probably very lost. Now, if you're looking for somewhere to go for a drink this evening or this afternoon, I've got the perfect place for you. Have a look on your right-hand side. You've got a building here called the Anchor. The pub is called the Anchor, and it's got the red windows there. It's one of the oldest pubs on the Thames. There's been a tavern there for over 400 years. It is believed that Shakespeare and his actors used to change in this building before and after performances at the old Rose and Globe theatres. That pub is where you'll find me and the captain at about 8 o'clock this evening. That is just for research purposes though, of course, for this company. Yeah, we do have to put some research in. Sometimes we do so much research at the Anchor, we actually forget the next day what we researched the night before. That was Cannon Street Railway Bridge we've just gone under there. Now I've got a few things to point out to you on the right hand side. You'll see a dock here on the right. In that dock there is a pirate ship. You can see the masts there. And that pirate ship is a replica to Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Now Sir Francis Drake was the first Englishman to circumnavigate the world. He did so in the Golden Hind there. Now it's said when he returned from that voyage, he brought back so much stolen gold from the Spanish that it cleared this country's national debt for the first and last time. Now, I've got another little hidden thing to show you. There's a gap in the buildings on the right. In that gap, you'll see a church. That is Southwark Cathedral. And if we've got any Americans on board, you might be interested to know John Harvard was baptised there. He emigrated to the States and founded Harvard University. Now then, this bridge, you'll all have heard of this bridge. Some of you have probably travelled thousands of miles to see this bridge. Here it is, in all its glory. This is London Bridge. Here we are. There you go. If you don't believe me, they've actually written it on the sign there, London Bridge. There you go. Now, several bridges have spanned this part of the river, and one was torn down, one fell down, one burned down, and one sunk in the mud. So we're doing really well there. The first people to build a bridge there were the Romans over 2,000 years ago. Now, anything illegally bought into the United Kingdom, so drugs, alcohol, tobacco, is taken to this building on the left, stored in the basement for up to a year, and then it's incinerated, hence those 6 small black chimneys on the roof there. Now, I have never seen any smoke coming out of those chimneys. Not a puff. But I do hear, though, they have excellent Christmas parties. No invite for me yet, though. Now, normally at this point, I like to point out HMS Belfast, but unfortunately, this cruise ship is blocking our view of the Belfast. There we go. Now, the Belfast is the other side of this cruise ship. In the summer, we do get cruise ships coming this far up. This is a very small cruise ship by today's standards, so we don't get the large ocean liners coming this far up into the city, but we do get these small ones. Now then, our stop is on the left here, but we're going to go a little bit beyond, and we're going to take you a little bit closer to Tower Bridge, where you're going to get a good photo opportunity, okay? Now then, what we're going to do in a moment is turn the boat in the river, and what I would ask is when we turn the boat, if you have a seat, please do stay in your seat, because when we side on, we roll quite a bit more, okay? And also someone behind you might be trying to take a photo. Okay, so if you can, just stay in your seats whilst we big style in 1894. And that was to be in keeping with the Tower of London, which is ahead of you right there. If you took down every brick, all the masonry, all the stonework on the bridge, it would remain standing, okay? It is just there for aesthetics. So as we continue to turn in the river, on your right hand side, you're going to get a really good view of the Tower of London. Now, this is my favourite landmark on the River Thames, the Tower of London. There is a lot of history in this building on the right. The centre part to the building, to the structure, is the oldest part. That's the White Tower with the 4 turrets. And that was built in the time of William the Conqueror in the 1070s. So there is nearly 1,000 years of history in this building on the right-hand side. Now, lots of sections have been added over the years by many different monarchs. And it's had a lot of functions as a building. It's been a fortress, a palace, a zoo, a mint, an observatory. It's currently home to the crown jewels, but most famously, of course, this has been a place of imprisonment, torture, and execution. That is not a place you wanted to end up, folks.